Meeting. Meetings are televised every day on Channel 2 at 6 p.m. at midnight and available for viewing on YouTube. Call to order, Pledge of Allegiance, followed by silent meditation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. Okay. We have several proclamations. Okay, National Library Week. Whereas libraries are accessible and inclusive places that foster a sense of connection and build community. Whereas libraries connect people to technology, providing access to broadband internet, computers, and training that are critical for accessing education and employment opportunities. Whereas libraries offer opportunities for everyone to connect with new ideas and become their best selves through access to multimedia content, programs, and classes, in addition to books. Whereas today's libraries and their services extend far beyond the four walls of a building, and everyone is welcome to use their resources. Whereas in times of crisis, libraries and library professionals play an invaluable role in supporting their communities both in person and virtually. Whereas libraries strive to develop and maintain programs and collections that are as diverse as the populations they serve and ensure equity of access for all. Whereas to adapt to our changing world, libraries are expanding their resources and continuing to meet the needs of their patrons. Whereas libraries have long served as trusted and treasured institutions for all members of the community, regardless of race, ethnicity, creed, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or social economic status. Whereas libraries are cornerstones of democracy, promoting the free exchange of information and ideas for all. Whereas libraries, librarians, and library workers are joining library supporters and advocates across the nation to celebrate National Library Week. Now, therefore, I, Kamala M. Leonhard, Mayor of the City of Leavenworth, Kansas, hereby proclaim April 3rd through the 9th, 2022, as National Library Week. During this week, I encourage all residents to connect with their library by visiting online or in person to access resources and services. In witness whereof, I set my hand and affixed the Great Seal of the City of Leavenworth, Kansas, this 12th day of April in the year 2022. So, thank you.
I would. Just thank you all very much for the continued support that the city has provided the library. It's the institution's been here since 1899, and the relationship with the city has always been productive and very, very valuable to the community. I'm looking forward to my presentation of my report to you next, I think, the 14th? Couple of weeks from today. Well, all this stuff going on, I'm losing track myself.
We got a lot going on.
I just want to invite all the new commissioners in particular, if you have any questions about the library, please don't hesitate to contact me. I'm the person to go for answers. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to provide any support or any information that you need about the wonderful things we do with the library. And again, thank you all very much.
Thank you. Thanks, Matt. Okay, and is it Deborah? Yes. Lyles? Okay. Okay, the next proclamation is National Child Abuse Prevention Month. Whereas our children are our most valuable resources and will shape the future of our communities. And whereas the majority of child abuse and neglect occurs when people find themselves in stressful situations that are preventable, but without community resources and support, they don't know how to cope. And whereas child abuse and neglect not only directly harm children, but also increase the likelihood of criminal behavior, substance abuse, health problems such as heart disease and obesity, and risky behavior such as smoking. And whereas child abuse and neglect is a community problem that can be reduced by making sure each family has the support of prevention programs created among social service agencies, schools, faith communities, civic organizations, law enforcement agencies, and the business community. And whereas together we can strengthen and support families in raising their children in a safe, nurturing environment. Now, therefore, I, Kamala M. Leonhard, Mayor of the City of Leavenworth, Kansas, hereby proclaim April 2022 as National Child Abuse Prevention Month. In witness whereof, I set my hand and affix the Great Seal of the City of Leavenworth, Kansas, this 12th day of April in the year of 2022. And Ms. Lyle, you want to come up here? There you go, ma'am.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank you.
Just want to say very quickly that CASA is working so hard on behalf of these children, and we need volunteers. So if you want information, please do not hesitate to call the office. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Tooley. Okay. Okay, next proclamation is Fair Housing Month. Whereas the Congress of the United States passed the Civil Rights Act of 1968, of which Title VIII declared that the law of the land would now guarantee the rights of equal housing opportunity. And whereas the City of Leavenworth is committed to the mission and intent of Congress to provide fair and equal housing opportunities for all, and today, many realty companies and associations support fair housing laws. And whereas the fair housing groups and the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development have over the years received thousands of complaints of alleged illegal housing discrimination and found too many that have proved upon investigation to be violations of the fair housing laws. And whereas equal housing opportunity is a condition of life in the City of Leavenworth that can and should be achieved. Now, therefore, I, Kamala M. Leonhard, Mayor of the City of Leavenworth, Kansas, hereby proclaim April 2022 to be Fair Housing Month, celebrating 54 years of fair housing. In witness whereof, I set my hand and affix the Great Seal of the City of Leavenworth, Kansas, this 12th day of April in the year of 2022. Here you go, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. And I'll just say thank you for your continued support. If anybody has any questions, they're always welcome to call us at the Housing Authority.
Okay. So I guess do I want Chief Birch and Chief Kitchens both? Yes, I'll have one. You each have your own proclamation. I guess I'm just reading the one. Okay, proclamation, National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. Whereas emergencies can occur at any time that require police, fire, or emergency medical services. And whereas when an emergency occurs, the prompt response of police officers, firefighters, and paramedics is critical to the protection of life and preservation of property. And whereas the safety of our police officers and firefighters is dependent upon the quality and accuracy of information obtained from citizens who telephone the Leavenworth Police Fire Communications Center. And whereas public safety dispatchers are the single vital link for our police officers and firefighters by monitoring their activities by radio, providing them with information, and ensuring their safety. And whereas public safety dispatchers of the Leavenworth Police Department have contributed substantially to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, and treatment of patients. And whereas each dispatcher has exhibited compassion, understanding, and professionalism during the performance of their job in the past year. Now, therefore, I, Kamala M. Leonhard, Mayor of the City of Leavenworth, Kansas, hereby proclaim April 10th through the 16th, 2022 as National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week, in honor of the men and women whose diligence and professionalism keep our city and citizens safe. In witness whereof, I set my hand and affix the great seal of the City of Leavenworth, Kansas, this 12th day of April in the year of 2022. And Chief Kitchen, if you both want to say something.
Madam Mayor and Commissioners, on behalf of the 10 full-time dispatchers that we have that send roughly 22,000 police calls and about 3,000 fire calls every year, we appreciate your continued support. And they're unsung heroes, the quiet public safety heroes that help us every day. Thank you very much.
I'd like to echo what the chief said there, and the dispatchers are the heroes behind the 911 call. And it's kind of like the center snapping the ball to the quarterback. If they mess up that snap, things don't go well. So we depend on them for our lifeline. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Last but not least, a proclamation for Barbershop Harmony Month. Okay. Whereas the Society for the Preservation and Encouragement of the Barbershop Quartet Singing in America, now known as the Barbershop Harmony Society, was founded in April 1938 and is celebrating its 84th anniversary. And whereas the Barbershop Harmony Society promotes singing and harmonious relations in the United States and in many countries throughout the world. And whereas the Cody Corlers of the Leavenworth chapter of the Barbershop Harmony Society are celebrating 52 years of barbershop harmony and community service in the Leavenworth area. And whereas the Cody Corlers work with the community to promote music education in the Leavenworth schools and entertain residents of and visitors to the first city of Kansas. Now, therefore, I, Kamala M. Leonhard, Mayor of the City of Leavenworth, Kansas, hereby proclaim April 2022 to be Barbershop Harmony Month. In witness whereof, I set my hand and affix the great seal of the City of Leavenworth, Kansas, this 12th day of April in the year of 2022. Oh, I'm going to take a photo out. Okay. Okay. A few words.
Well, thank you very much. Sincerely appreciate it. The Corliers have been singing for 52 years, going on 53. And I was talking with Sister Vicky, and they've been here 164 years. So, but I was looking at the picture there on the screen. I was thinking about Across the Wide Missouri. But I'm not going to sing tonight. a little bit croaky. But maybe next year we'll come back. We found a song written by Gene Autry that says 11 years in Leavenworth. So we're going to see if we can come up with that one. So thank you very much.
Okay,
I appreciate
thank you so much. Okay. Old business, consideration of previous meeting minutes. Minutes from March 22nd, 2022 regular meeting. Any questions or concerns from fellow commissioners? No. Okay, I just need a motion to approve.
Madam Mayor, I move to approve the minutes from March 22nd, 2022 regular meeting.
Seconded.
Okay, begin voting with Commissioner Wilson.
Aye.
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 Okay, minutes passed. Second consideration ordinance. Second consideration ordinance number 8184, ordinance to regulate and allow electric scooters.
Madam Mayor and Commission, there have been no changes since the first reading. If you have any questions on this item, I'll do my best. We also have the city attorney here and Julie Hurley from the Planning and Community Development Department.
Okay, did my fellow commissioners have any questions?
Just one.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Omitting section 69D of the standard traffic ordinance relating to city permits for soliciting of contributions is hereby declared to be omitted and deleted. Does that allow for folks to be on the street soliciting funds for personal use?
I'll have to pull that up. That wasn't a new, that was part of the regular traffic amendment ordinance that's been part of past every year. So I don't know exactly where that came from, but that wasn't a new part of this. What we did on this was basically it readopted the standard traffic ordinance, incorporated all the other revisions that had made by the city previously. I'll have to pull up that thing for you here to see what that is.
Okay.
The standard traffic ordinance.
So it was something that was already in there that hadn't been changed on this, so we can get you an update on that.
Okay.
That is what is in your current law right now.
Right.
And so this would be,
This would omit it.
no, it is currently omitted in the city. But this is a reincorporating the standard traffic ordinance with the same changes that the city already had. So that was one that was approved by the commission at some point in the past and has carried over throughout the years. As examples, for example, this isn't quite, but every year you adopt the standard traffic ordinance and also something called the Uniform Public Offense Code. And as an example, in the Uniform Public Offense Code, the age for the purchase of cigarettes is 18 years old. And a few years ago, you changed the Uniform Public Offense Code to make that 21 through the Tobacco 21 initiative, so that every time we reincorporate the Uniform Public Offense Code, we have to make sure we keep that change again, carry it over year by year. So this is another carryover. So this was not something that was looked at for this part of the ordinance, but was done a number of years ago whenever the standard traffic ordinance was originally adopted. So I'm afraid I'm not I don't have that exactly
Right,
at
it's already
hand.
there. Okay,
Thank you.
But I can look for that.
so should we do?
Yeah, this is just dealing with the allowing the scooters. We had previously amended it to prohibit them, and this allows that in the city code.
Okay, so, roll call, Commissioner Wilson? Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
I'm pulling that up right now, so I can,
okay.
when we get a break, I can.
Okay, no, that would be great. Okay, next up, new business, public comment, i.e. items not listed on the agenda or receipt of petitions. Public comment is limited to 2 to 3 minutes, and no action will be taken by the commission on public comment items. Please state your name and address. A sign-up sheet will be provided in the commission chambers for anyone wishing to speak. Fill out the sheet with requested information when you enter the meeting. So Sarah, did we have?
Mr. Dave York.
Okay, Mr. York.
Yeah, so I'm just pulling.
Hi, my name is Dave York. I live at 2523 South 23rd Street in Leavenworth.
Would you like someone to run the slides?
Oh, no, would you mind doing that? Sure. I'm here on behalf of a group called the Equal Justice Initiative. Being the pastor of the United Methodist Church, First Church here in town, I was charged with creating a coalition to create a community remembrance project for the city and county of Leavenworth. The Equal Justice Initiative is a national program created by Brian Stevenson. If you've seen the movie Equal Just Mercy, he's the creator of that initiative. And what it does, our group consists of several people that are here in the audience. Go back a slide, please. Tony Majors is here, William Wallace, Carla Wiegers is here with me. You can see some of the other names there, quite a diverse group. And our goal is to create the community remembrance projects for the lynching victims in the history of Leavenworth County. In Leavenworth County, there were 3 historically. 1901, Fred Alexander, 1893, Richard Wood in 1887, Silas Wilson. And so our project has components to it. Next slide, please. The creation of a historical marker that will tell the story of our history here in Leavenworth County, and then the story of lynching in America, we're hoping to have displayed by the county courthouse. A soil collection of each of the spots, approximately where the men were murdered. We'll collect the soil and have that as part of the Juneteenth celebration on June the 18th. And then the essay contest we're doing with students from Leavenworth and Lansing high schools with scholarship money of at least $5,000. And so we've been invited into those classrooms. We're going to Leavenworth here in a couple weeks. We've been to some of the classes in Lansing. One of our goals, is an ongoing goal, is to have courageous conversations around the idea of racism and our history of racial terrorism and justice and poverty and what that looks like for our land, to tell the story of who we are as a people and to honestly talk about those issues. Next slide, please. The pictures you can see here, that's what the historical marker will look like. Of course, it'll be fitted for us, and the soil collection goes to the EJI Museum in Montgomery, Alabama. One will be here at the Richard Allen Cultural Museum, and the last one will go to the African American Museum in Wichita, Kansas. And that's what the awards look like for the student essays. The story that's probably best known, although there are a lot of people of Leavenworth who don't know it, Fred Alexander was arrested without a charge for the murder of Pearl Forbes. He was not given a trial. He was put in the state prison down in the Lansing area back in the old days. Was brought up here to Leavenworth, was basically taken out by a mob of 5,000 to 8,000 people, and was murdered, lynched near Spruce, if you know where the Green Dinosaur is, right in that area, and he was burned at the stake. No due process, no one was held accountable for the action, nothing was done. It was shocking, it was a national story, and in 1901, that's quite a statement to say people from California to New York knew about it, because it happened in Kansas. If it would have happened in the Deep South, it wouldn't have been in the news at all. But here in Kansas, with the reputation of the state, it happened that way. So we believe that the way to create a better community, a healthier society, is to tell our story and to provide opportunities, not to shame people or to guilt people or anything like that, to provide opportunities to speak about issues that still affect us today. And so that's part of the goal of what we have. I did want to end, because I know my time is tight, with the website for the Equal Justice Initiative, so that you can do a little bit of homework on it. Go ahead and click forward one more. That's it's a really easy website, eji.org. I mean, it doesn't, and you can tool around on the rest of it. And when you go there, click the tab that's on projects, community remembrance projects. We've had youth from our church go there as part of a mission trip, and it's a powerful place. It is very impactful. We believe telling the story of the first city of Leavenworth is important to tell all of our history. And it's important to be truthful and honest about it so that we can be that way in our time and also teach future generations how to become a better society as well. So that's our goal. What we would like, and I know I'm not supposed to ask for anything, but while I have the microphone, I'm going to do it anyway, a letter of recommendation from this group so that we can present it to the county commissioners with your approval. I have no idea what the protocol is to do that, but I'm sure you guys can figure that out if you're willing to do it. So thank you.
Appreciate you,
Okay,
Madison.
thank you very much. Okay. Dan, did we have any other public comment? No. Anybody?
Oh, yeah, just for a second.
She was on the list.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, that's fine. Carla, yeah.
Yeah, so Carla Wiegers, and I go to Pastor Dave's church, the First United Methodist Church, the one that looks like the castle up from the library.
Yep.
And with the Equal Justice Initiative, I think that the power of it is just students and children understanding local history in societies or our local history. All good starts at the local level. So if we bury things over time, they come up again someday. So teaching our children, hey, this is our local history. We don't need to really listen to the federal level, we just need to look at each other and understand our community and the strong tapestry that we are. And we're military, we're prison system, we're all of these different things. The crime, the allegations, whether a federal representative did it or not, the lack of due process is certainly a crime. And this was back even before women could vote, because it was 1901 when he was actually lynched. And the women and girls involved in this case really weren't even consulted and asked. It was the fathers and the brothers and just different people in the community taking the law into their own hands. So thank you. The schools, the Brian Stevenson and the Just Mercy book and movie, the students in the AP classes at both of the high schools have the opportunity to read that. And so now they can take it a little bit further and dig into their own local history and take that with them, whether they stay in our community or whether they are satellites that we send out into the world to make it better. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And I agree. I'm a big component of history, and, you know, we're the oldest city, I mean, in Kansas, 1854, and whether you have, you know, good or bad what happened back then, but you want to get the right information out, you want to educate people, you want to have a conversation. So I think that's wonderful, what you guys are doing. So thanks for being here. Did you guys have any comments?
Just, we also need to make sure that we proclaim how far it is that we have come.
Oh, yes.
And what things are like now.
Oh, yes, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I appreciate you all and your efforts, hard work. Like I said, I definitely support you all. Just like you said, Pastor York, it's not about shaming people, but it's about telling the whole truth. And that's the only way we're going to be able to grow forward and heal, not as only a community, but as a nation. So I appreciate you.
Yep. Thanks again. Okay, was that it for anyone else for public comment?
If I may.
You sure? Go ahead. Just name and address.
Tony Majors,
Yeah.
4004 Richmond Drive, Leavenworth, Kansas. I just want to echo, not really echo, but just add the piece of reconciliation. Change never comes until you change what was done. And we have a powerful opportunity, not only as the first city, but to be a representation of that reconciliation when we actually put righteousness where it belongs. And so I want to thank you all, but I want to also encourage you to put righteousness where it belongs. And when we do that, then now we'll have an opportunity to heal. And that's what this is all about. It's no shame, it's about healing. I'm in the group because I don't know the history. And I feel bad without knowing the history. And so I hope to bridge the gap to give it to the next generation so they'll know how to take righteousness and place it where it needs to be. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Majors. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, we will move on. Thank you again. Let's see, public hearing.
Madam Mayor,
Oh.
if you'd like, I'm ready to speak to Mr. Hinkula's question.
sure,
if
go
you'd like,
ahead.
Before you move on.
Yep.
Just wanted to point out, Section 69 of the Standard Traffic Ordinance has 4 provisions. Subpart A is that no person shall stand upon or along a street for the purpose of soliciting a ride, hitchhiking. Subpart B is that no person shall stand on a highway for the purpose of soliciting employment, business, or contributions from the occupant of any vehicle. Skip down to subpart D, which is the part that's been omitted for the ordinance that we did. Subpart D says, the soliciting of contributions under that subsection B shall not be prohibited if such person or organization has first obtained a permit from the city. Since the city does not issue permits for that type of activity, at some point, this is even prior to my time as city attorney, the city determined we don't need that subpart D that references a permit, so we might as well strike that from the standard traffic ordinance because we don't issue permits for that type of thing. So it does not authorize that. The standard traffic ordinance would authorize some of that activity with a permit by the city, but since the city has deleted that part, there is no permit for it. The basic prohibition remains.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay. Public hearing for vacating a portion of right-of-way at 1507 Shawnee Street.
This will be our Public Works Director, Brian Faust. And you open the public
Yeah, I
hearing.
was going to say. I just need the motion to open the public hearing.
So move.
Second?
Okay, begin voting with Commissioner Wilson.
Aye.
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 Okay, meeting opened.
Well, thank you, Madam Mayor and Commissioners. The issue before the City Commission this evening is to place on first consideration an ordinance vacating a portion of Shawnee Street in the right-of-way platted in Lot 1 of Rafters, replat of Block 61 of Central Subdivision, and a part of Block 61 of Central Subdivision adjacent to 1507 Shawnee Street. On the screen is an aerial photograph taken in 1998, prior to the street project. And then the photograph on the left is from 2020. Back around the year 2000, the city did straighten out Shawnee, and so we took the big jog out of it, which left additional property at 1507. This right-of-way vacation has been roughly 22 years in the making. The property owners, Mr. and Mrs. Curtis Hammond, owned the property at 1507 that was impacted by the realignment and reconstruction of Shawnee. At that time, the city did state it would support vacating some of the existing right-of-way west of the property, and a copy of that letter was in your packet. The area requested has been maintained by the property owners ever since. City staff reviewed this proposal and location and offers the following observations. There are no city improvements planned for this area that would require the city to retain this right-of-way. The utility companies in the area have been contacted, and they indicate that they have no issues with the proposed vacation. Based on these factors, the engineering office supports this request.
Okay, my fellow commissioners, did you have any questions?
No, the packet is pretty thorough.
It is, it's great. Okay, no questions, so then I guess I just need to close the public hearing.
You need to
Oh.
ask if there is anybody that would
Oh.
like to speak for the public hearing.
Does anyone else want to speak for this item? No, okay. Thank you. Then I just need a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Hengler, vote starting with you.
Aye.
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 Okay, close the hearing. Okay, now I just need a consensus. First consideration ordinance for vacation of right-of-way.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Faust.
Thank you very much, Commissioner.
Oh, yeah, thank you, thank you. Okay, let me go here. Okay. Mayor's appointments. Mayor Leonhard, move to reappoint to the Leavenworth Preservation Commission Sherry Hines Whitson to a term ending April 12th, 2025.
Second.
Okay, starting with Commissioner Wilson.
Aye.
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 Okay, that is passed, thank you. Okay, 2022, 2023 City Commission goals.
Madam Mayor and Commission, at annual goal setting session on Friday, March 25th, City Commission reviewed the standing goals, made modifications, additions, and some deletions to those. As a reminder, the goals do not represent all of the city's efforts during the year. They're simply a guide of the commission setting priorities in different areas of interest that staff uses to guide actions during the year, also key in our budget development. So as we go through these, I'm just going to highlight the changes, and then we'll put the full document on the website. So reflected in this year's changes was under economic development. We modified a goal relating to a marketing plan for the business park and efforts to market the city in general. We just sort of modified that to explore options for an overall city marketing campaign to include residential, commercial, and industrial highlights, as well as unique amenities and attractions. So just gave a little more specificity to that goal. The driving force behind that was Leavenworth 2030, First City Future Forward, the city's comprehensive plan, which indicated a need to do some more dedicated marketing for the city. So important to have this in here as we move into the budget time. You may see some information about a marketing campaign come budget time. We also added, there was a consensus from the commission to establish a small business symposium. The city did this maybe 8-9 years ago, where the city hosts a half day. We bring in a speaker. We highlight all of the tools that the city has for existing and new business owners. And we just invite and create a connection between businesses, prospective businesses, and the city on the ways that we can help you with your existing business and grow a new business in the city of Leavenworth. Under community improvement, I want to be clear on this. We deleted continue actions by code enforcement to reduce and eliminate blighted properties. This is something that we do every single day. The city has 3 code enforcement officers. We do more than 300 inspections and citations and re-inspections and calls for service all the time. So it happens in the normal course of business that we enforce the city's property maintenance code. So we could keep it on here, but I think there was a consensus that it's like saying the police department should work to reduce crime. It's a given based on the operations of that office. And the same thing with the options to focus on perpetually blighted properties. We've determined that the court system is the best way. It's not foolproof. Continually blighted properties, there are a few chronic ones in the community. The judge does often authorize the city to abate, but those are taxpayers' dollars that go to then abate those properties. The city commission has set aside a small sum to do some court-ordered abatement, but we will never see those funds back. Those end up just going as assessments on property tax, and we very rarely, if ever, receive those funds. So we will keep bringing chronic offenders to court. We will keep putting them in front of the judge and then move through the process that way. We did modify Explorer Splash Park because an expanded trail system because we already have the splash park approved and the work is going right now. And we modified that to continue to fund and plan for expanded trail offerings in the city. Again, in the comp plan, commission consensus, let's continue quality of life and expand the trails. So we clarified that item. Continuing there, we modified allocate city funding for a state grant to pursue public transit option. So we have that, we're just waiting on the vehicles. So that goal is changed to implement the city's transit service program in concert with governmental and community partners. We modified the explore and the creation of a city waste citizens task force, solid waste task force, because that group has had their first meeting, and so they are getting ready for their second meeting, and eventually we'll come to the commission with some ideas. So we have used the city's solid waste citizens task force to evaluate and make recommendations on refuse collections.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
When will that second meeting be? Can you?
Wednesday? Is it this Wednesday or next Wednesday? When's the next?
The 20th of April.
The 20th of April. So they're meeting every other week for 4 weeks, or for the first 4 meetings, and then we'll assess whether we need meetings every 2 weeks or once a month. So.
And those meetings take place here?
We had the first one in the community center
Yeah.
because there was a conflict with a previously scheduled city meeting, but they will then move to this chamber for future meetings. Thank you. And then we added, there's a consensus to explore a partnership with the Boys and Girls Club or similar organization to promote activity and opportunity for Leavenworth youth. That was also included in the comp plan to focus on opportunities for the youth in the city of Leavenworth, so that's a new goal. In public safety, we combined two, so there's really no deletion or addition, addressing recent trends in domestic violence and targeted initiatives to reduce drug crimes in high-risk areas. I think you've seen from the police chief's annual report the last couple years that those numbers are down, or trending in the right direction, I should say, on both those items. So it stays a goal, but we just combined those two items. Roadways and infrastructure, it was create a long-term pavement management plan for all city streets. The commission approved a partnership with Benish Corporation to do that, and that's been approved. The streets for 2022 should be done this week. The list, and then the 2 to 3 year plan, and then the 5-year plan is on that. So rather than creating it, we have review and implement the long-range pavement management plan for all city streets. Finally, we had under other items receiving general support, a new one is prioritize and explore all efforts related to employee recruitment and retention. From an organization that provides services, there's nothing more important for us to provide those services than having the people to do that. So the city, just like every other city, but also the private sector, is facing difficulties in recruiting and retention. So you may see items related to that in the upcoming budget. And then finally, we added 2 groups to provide annual updates, Workforce Partnership and the Guidance Center, 2 key components of our city's overall service organizations, so we've added those. So the items before you represent the consensus from the goal-setting session, and we will adopt those if the commission so chooses tonight, and put them on the website for anybody to view.
Okay. And my fellow commissioners, do you have any questions?
I move that we put it on the website.
Did you have any questions?
No,
but I second it.
Okay, Commissioner Wilson?
I second it. Oh, aye.
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 Okay, there we go. I know, it's just us three.
One quick question before you move on.
Yes,
Yep,
sir.
sure.
Where it is red, showing where the changes were, will that be taken out before
Yes.
it gets put on? Good.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, next up. It's just informational update, rezoning of 1830 South Broadway.
Julie?
Hey, so this is, as it said, just an informational update. If you'll remember, at our March 22nd meeting, there was a first consideration ordinance for the rezoning of 1830 South Broadway, which is the Council on Aging property. So after that came, we discovered there had been some sort of record-keeping error in our department, and this had actually been rezoned back in 2009, and we just had no record of that anywhere. GIS was not updated, nothing was updated. It was brought to our attention. Sarah did some digging in the city clerk's office, and we did find that ordinance from 2009. So nothing has changed with the project, but just legally, we have to have that owner go back and start at the beginning of the process and start that notification over. So we're sending out new notifications to the property owners, the neighboring property owners this week. That'll go back through the Planning Commission for a new public hearing, and then come back before you for a new first consideration ordinance, just with the correct zoning being in place. So again, nothing has changed with the proposal. We just had the wrong zoning to start with, so we had to kind of backtrack and start over. So there's no action needed on that, just to kind of update you where we're at. And that's going to the May 9th Planning Commission meeting for that public hearing, and then you'll see that back for a new first consideration ordinance after that time.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Hurley. Okay.
The owner has been advised of all
Yes,
this.
he's aware. He's submitted a new application so
Yeah.
that we have a new case number and everything. So after talking with Attorney Waters, we just kind of had to start over from square one and get everything redone, so.
Good, he's not gonna be surprised.
Nope,
Good.
he's aware. Obviously, he's not
Yeah.
super happy about it, but he wasn't gonna be starting the project immediately anyway, so it shouldn't be any, too burdensome for him to, be about a month and a half behind where we were.
Okay.
Good.
And
Thank
it's
you.
still, he still has a little bit, to-
Yes,
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
it's
and
got
since the council is still operating out of that
They're not
building,
gonna
he
be
wasn't
moving
gonna be
quickly.
starting right away.
September.
Is that when it is,
Yeah,
September?
September-ish, yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next up, letter of support, Leavenworth Attainable Housing.
Madam Mayor and Commission, I'm going to invite Sister Vicki Perkins up. Just as a matter of record, the city does a number of letters of support during the year, a lot of reoccurring ones, the Guidance Center, Leavenworth County Historic Society. This was a new one, and it's a new topic, so I felt it appropriate to bring the group here and get a consensus for a letter of support, so I will turn it over to Sister Vicki.
Thank you, Paul. I'm just going to give you a little brief update of how Leavenworth Attainable Housing came to be. Truly an outgrowth of the Community of Hope, the Leavenworth Interfaith Community of Hope. When at Welcome Central, when people would come in for IDs, for job searches, for rental assistance, we knew what to do. But when they would come in looking for housing, we almost never were able to help them. We could not find good, affordable housing for them. So we decided that we needed to look at addressing that issue separate from the Community of Hope. So we created a new 501c3. It's called the Leavenworth Attainable Housing. And this group it's a group of about 20 people who have been working consistently with trying to get some kind of affordable housing. It's almost like a three-phase project as we're looking at right now. We do have one house that was given to us that on 410 Miami that we will start renting in May. And that's the first thing. We had to rehab that house, and we did that mostly with volunteers. We are pretty confident that we're going to get 5 houses least to us, really, that we can begin to work with to get some other people into housing that is attainable. We say that we want it to be affordable, attainable, and sustainable. The affordable is they have enough to pay the rent, and the rent will be 1/3 of their income. Then the attainable is they won't have to pay the deposit, the utility provisions, when you get it, the down payment there. And so they don't have to have all of that money at one time, because that was one of the things that kept people from getting housing, is they might be able to pay the rent, but they couldn't get everything that they needed to get into the house. And then sustainable is we are creating a whole raft of wraparound services. We've worked with the Guidance Center, with Community of Hope, with Salvation Army, Catholic Charities, St. Vincent's Clinic, a whole raft of people who are willing to come and present and help these people if they need it. We have 4 banks that are working to present financial education. That piece we will require of all of our tenants. But the others, it'll depend on which services they need. But with those services, hopefully it will be sustainable housing. It won't be that they come in and 3 months later, they're put out for various reasons. So what we are trying to do is get a number of houses. Eventually, that 5-house thing would be kind of what I call phase 2. And then in my mind, it's just in my mind, but in my mind, phase 3 would be we would find some place where we could do 10 to 15 one-bedroom apartments for individuals, because we run up against that all the time. An individual person, a man or a woman who's trying to get in, doesn't need a lot of space, but needs something to call home. We recognize that we will really never address homelessness unless we can provide some housing. So that's what we are trying to do. We have applied, or we are applying, we haven't applied yet, and I never remember the full name of this, the Kansas Community Program Tax Credit.
Service tax credit.
Thank you. And that's what we're asking for a letter of support for. I don't know if the city generally does that. If you do, we'd love to have one. We've gotten letters of support from a number of businesses. So that's kind of where we are and what we're asking of you. And again, just because I'm up here, I'm going to say thank you again. The city, I tell the story constantly, this is not the normal city. This city works to try to help you get things done, not to put roadblocks in your way. So we are very grateful for that. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to try to answer them. Or
First off, you're amazing. And just say if an individual wants to get into the program, what are the qualifications?
what are the
What would it take for them to get inside the program?
Well, we'll take applications for people, and it's going to be a little different than just going to rent a house.
Yeah.
We will sit down with them for a long time to say what you need to do if you're going to rent with us. If you're going to rent with us, you've got to be part of this. You've got to be willing to take the financial education. You've got to be willing to work with us on all the different things. We will be in the house at the beginning. First week, we'll be there every day. Then, depending on if it's going all right, we'll walk that back to maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks, that kind of thing. But we will continue to work with them the whole time they're there. We hope to build a peer group so that right now the only people they can call if there's an issue is an agency. And we'd like to have them have somebody that they could call. The person won't be able to take care of the problem probably, but at least there'd be somebody to talk to. So we'll have community gatherings of the people we're renting to.
And how long will an individual be able to live in the house?
As long as they want. It's not transitional housing. It's just, they may at some point be strong enough that they want to move out into something that's bigger. Right. But if they want to stay there, they can.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Did you have anything to add?
No.
No. Thank you, Sister Vicky. Yeah, wonderful job. So,
I've been there. I've met with the folks at Leavenworth Attainable Housing, and I tell you that they work hard, and they're all volunteers. So, isn't that right, Sister Vicky? Everybody's a volunteer.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, well then looks like I just need a consensus for the
Yes.
letter of support. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, write the
Okay.
letter.
You have it.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, Resolution B-2312, CDBG 5-Year Consolidated Plan and Annual Action Plan.
I think this will be, I'll turn it over to Julie, and you can introduce our new Community Development Coordinator.
So I know you all knew Mary Dwyer, who was our Community Development Coordinator, who retired in February. Julie McKeel has taken over that role, and so I'll let her take it away. She's done a really good job picking up where Mary left everything off.
Madam Mayor, Commissioners, Community Development is requesting your approval of the 5-year consolidated plan for community development block grant funds. Leavenworth is an entitlement city that receives CDBG funds. The focus is based on benefit to low moderate income persons, prevention eliminates slums of blight, and meeting urgent need. Funds are divided between administration, housing programs consisting of home repair and first-time homebuyers, neighborhood stabilization consisting of removal of dangerous structures and infrastructure, public service agencies, in which our 2022-2023 subrecipients have applied and been approved. Those are consisting of Catholic Charities, CASA, St. Vincent Clinic, Leavenworth Interfaith Community of Hope, and the Guidance Center. Our award for the 2022-2023 year are projection numbers at this time. I'm sure you're aware that Congress has not voted approving budget for this next year. And once they do, then HUD will have an opportunity to give us the award funds to let us know what we receive. It's to my understanding that this has happened over the last several years, a bit of a delay. In a perfect world, we would like to turn in our annual action plan in every year by May 15th. But due to circumstances, there is a delay that's going to happen. HUD would prefer that we have our award funds awarded to us so that we have exact numbers. We are due to turn in a 5-year action plan this year, so that's why it's a 5-year plan as well. And this is also passed through our Community Development Advisory Board. We have had our 2 hearings. The CDAB has requested a pro rata distribution once our award has come. If you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them for you.
Yeah, Mrs. McKeel, what, do we have any idea at all, since this has happened before, when the funds will be awarded to?
So it's been approximately July.
Okay.
From what I have seen in the past. And like I said, in a perfect world, we would have the award.
Right.
It would be submitted by May 15th. We're expecting it to be approximately around July again, in which then we will just simply update our numbers to the true and correct. I did speak with the HUD rep, regardless if the award has been given to us or not, no matter what, this has to be turned in by August 15th. So, but we are prepared and ready to submit for whenever we know that those funds are, or if we have to turn it in as it is.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Would the Leavenworth Attainable Housing Organization, would they be able to benefit from this?
You know, Sister Vicky and I think we'll be talking a lot. She's very involved with our community, as you know.
I know.
I am not certain where Sister Vicky is sitting at in regards to getting a 990, or if she would, if Leavenworth Attainable Housing will be a potential subrecipient to our funds. But I'm sure that Sister Vicky and I will be speaking. Or did she leave? Okay. I'm sure that we will be speaking a lot. She is a very good ally and resource to ask questions to. And as she was discussing the wraparound services, she's absolutely right. And we have a great group of public service agencies that provide awesome wraparound services. So this is Leavenworth Attainable Housing I would love to see them as a recipient, so I'm sure that her and I will be speaking. For the 2022-23 year, that's,
Probably too late for that, but
yes, sir.
next year, right?
Potentially. We'll be chatting, I'm sure.
She just left to fill out an application right now.
That's right. Right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
No,
No? Okay.
I'm hot though.
Yeah, I hear. No, Mrs. McKeel, welcome.
Thank
Good
you.
report. So then, I just need a motion.
I move that we adopt the attached resolution adopting and authorizing the submission of the 2022-26 Consolidated Plan and the 2022-2023 Annual Action Plan.
Second.
Begin voting with Commissioner Hengela.
Aye.
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 Okay, motion passed. Thank you.
Welcome to the
And welcome.
team.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, next up. Bids, contracts, and agreements. Consider memorandum of understanding for Bird Scooter Pilot Program.
Madam Mayor and Commission, Penny Holler, our Assistant City Manager, will handle this item.
Mayor and Commissioners, this will be the second time tonight that we've discussed scooters. For your consideration tonight is the MOU with Bird Scooters that would allow them to launch 75 scooters in the city during a 12-month pilot project. The MOU is included in your packet, and it looks similar to Bird's original MOU that was provided to the Commission previously. Should the Commission approve, the city is prepared to launch an educational website to address some of their frequently asked questions. And Mike Butler, the representative from Bird Scooters, is also available on call if it's necessary to ask any specific questions on the terms. And I'm here to address any questions you may have.
The MOU currently says 50.
So that's
I also saw
the minimum.
75 in the presentation.
Yep, so both are true. The presentation that they submitted said 75, so I think we're expecting up to 75 for the program, but the minimum required in the MOU is 50.
Okay. I didn't have any questions.
Good. No, I read through it.
Yeah,
It's thorough.
thorough.
Sets things up pretty
Ready to
well.
ride.
Okay.
Then we need our chief of police to test it out, just so he can give us his feedback as well.
He can ride the first one.
Yeah, the junior patrol officer will be testing that pump. Slightly elderly and defragile.
No
Okay.
comments.
Any other?
Yeah, I would just move that we approve the MOU.
Yep, and I second.
Okay, begin voting. Commissioner Hengela?
Aye.
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 Okay, motion passed.
Before you
So
leave,
when will we see them?
bingo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, tonight, the commission approved the ordinance that allows the electric scooters in the street. We have to wait for that ordinance to be published, to be final. We anticipate that might be Friday, so the MOU would be signed Friday. After that, we would be working with the Bird Scooters communications team to do probably a press release and to do that launch. They haven't given me an exact time frame, but probably some time to do that communication piece is likely, but soon. I think everyone's expecting relatively soon.
Yeah,
Summertime.
I'd love to be there for that.
The CVB will
So,
be,
I don't think they want to wait till summer.
Okay.
They've been working on this with us since last fall. So
Yeah.
I think for them, they're ready to work on that. You recall, they have to hire a local contractor. So there's a little bit of work that has to be done.
the CVB is heavily involved in this.
I think the CVB is open for opportunities that would bring in tourism to Leavenworth and help people access local businesses. And so I think this is something we're certainly looking to see how we facilitate the program and how it goes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, next up, consider contract for sanitary storm sewer rehabilitation.
Once again, Brian Faust, the Director of Public Works, will handle this item.
Well, a second. It worked earlier.
I'll get this going in just a minute. Thank you, Madam Mayor and Commission again. The issue this evening is to consider approval of a contract for sanitary and storm sewer rehabilitation in the amount of $164,108.75. The city of Leavenworth started using cured-in-place pipe, which is CIPP, in the 90s to rehabilitate and improve the structural integrity of our storm and sanitary lines. These liners can be installed quickly with little to no disruption to residents, as streets are not closed as long and services are open quicker. This means less excavation and restoration. CIPP lining can usually be finished in a day. City crews, Tim's crews, have been out working to identify lines that are broken and that are good candidates for CIPP lining. And have a short video. We've used it in here before, but I think it's been years, so you may not be aware of exactly the process. And so I found this little video online, and it's actually from in situ form.
In situ form's flagship cured-in-place pipe technology, or CIPP, is a pipe within a pipe, installed without digging. Resin-saturated, coated felt tubing is inverted or pulled into the existing pipe. Hot water or steam is then circulated throughout the tubing, curing the resin and forming a tight-fitting, jointless, corrosion-resistant pipe within a pipe. Service laterals are then restored using a robotically controlled cutting device. Finally, the rehabilitated pipe is fully inspected by closed-circuit TV.
Just a short video of kind of the process that we go through. And this year we're doing 5 different segments of sanitary line, 8-inch in diameter. And then 2 segments of storm line. One is 30 inches and one is 54 inches. And the great thing about this is you're not digging up people's driveways, front yards, cross streets. You can do this, like they showed, you go from one manhole to the next. It's a great process. We did look at kind of a comparison. This is $164,000. We looked at what it would be to do an open cut and do all the restoration, and that price is approximately $575,000. So a significant savings by going with the CIPP.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Pricing on this contract is based on a cooperative agreement with Insituform and their contract with Johnson County Wastewater. We piggybacked on that cooperative agreement. And so staff does recommend the City Commission approve the contract with Insituform for the 2022 sanitary and storm sewer rehabilitation project in the amount of $164,108.75. And Tim and I are here to answer any questions you may have.
Did you have any questions?
No, appreciate it.
Did you?
How long is this good for?
Long time.
I mean,
it's a very heavy duty cured in place. It comes almost like a hard plastic when it's done.
yeah.
Jointless, so you won't have the roots that we have through the old clay tile type of pipe. That's a pretty good system.
So yeah, the ones you evidently started using back in the 90s are still doing fine?
Yes. Yep. 30 years, okay. Good.
Okay, anything else?
No.
No, okay, no. Okay, no, great, thank you very much. So I just need a motion.
Madam Mayor, I move to approve the contract with Insituform for the 2022 sanitary storm sewer rehabilitation project for $164,108.75.
Second.
Okay, begin voting. Commissioner Wilson? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passed. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, now we're to the consent agenda. Were you going to do that this evening?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Madam Mayor, I move to approve the claims for March 19th, 2022 through April 8th, 2022 in the amount of $915,657.94. Net amount for payroll number 6, effective March 25th, 2022, in the amount of $358,723.32, includes police and fire pension in the amount of $9,038.36, and payroll number 7 effective April 8th, 2022, in the amount of $325,042.86, no police and fire pension.
Woo! Okay, need a second.
Second.
Begin voting.
The numbers, aye.
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 Okay, passed. Okay, thank you very much. So, our meeting's come to a close, but let's go around with ending comments. Did you have anything?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Hengela?
I hope everybody has a happy, holy, and joyous Easter. Thank you.
Echoing my brother, Mr. Ed, God bless you all. Happy Resurrection Sunday and happy Easter.
Okay, I say happy Easter as well, but real quick, the city had their Easter egg hunt this past weekend, and I helped out with that. So just to give you a little tidbit on that, there's 10,000 eggs that are filled, and so we had about 500 to 600 estimate kids. So you have an area that's 6 to 9, 1 to 5, and 10 to 12. So I did get to do the little blowhorn, and it took them 2 minutes and 20 seconds to clear it.
Wow.
I was afar. So, but no, it was a great day and a great event for family and the kids. And there was a lot of vendors out there. Nancy Bowder, Commissioner Nancy Bowder, she had two, they had the National Honor Society volunteers, high school students. She had 2 of them to face paint with her, so they did over 200 face painting. Yeah, that line was forever. So I just wanted to give you a heads up on that, but otherwise, yeah, have a safe evening. I know we're gonna probably have some bad weather, but otherwise have a happy Easter. So I just need a motion to adjourn.
I move.
I need a second.
Second.
You can
Third.
vote.
Aye.
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 Okay, adjourned. Thank you.